Welcome back, fellow adventurers. Now today, if you are considering between the Winnebago EKKO 22A and the 23B, then you are in the right place. We're not here to tell you which one is better. We're here to break down the key differences, the thought process behind each of these designs, and help you figure out which EKKO fits your lifestyle best. And because we're going to do a deeper dive, we'll highlight things that most people might overlook. So let's get started. Let's start this off by talking about the foundation that the fantastic EKKO is built on. This 22A is built on the Ford Transit all-wheel drive platform powered by a 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 gas engine. And this has 310 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. And this is paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission. And the EcoBoost is known for its turbocharged punch and its reliability in colder climates. So if you're planning on trips where there's more gas stations, this setup is certainly a win. Now, the 23B rides on the Mercedes Sprinter all-wheel drive chassis, powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder high-output turbo diesel motor. And this pushes out 211 horsepower and 332 foot-pounds of torque. Mated to a 9-speed transmission, for diesel lovers, you'll appreciate the high efficiency and the low-end torque, especially if you're hauling gear or climbing steep grades. Keep in mind that diesel engines thrive with consistent use and longer drives, so if you're planning extended trips, long drives, this might be your pick. Dimensionally, the 22A measures 23 feet in length, 10 feet 6 inches in height, and 7 feet and 2.5 inches in width. The 23B, however, extends to 24 feet 6 inches in length, stands at 10 feet 11 inches in height, and shares the same width at 7 feet and 2.5 inches. The increased length and height of the 23B translates to more interior space and higher ground clearance underneath, beneficial for off-road excursions and accommodating taller individuals. Both models will come with a 5,000-pound rear hitch, but here's a small detail that makes a difference. The 23B has about 220 pounds more in occupant and cargo carrying capacity. This extra buffer means the Sprinter can comfortably tow slightly heavier loads while keeping you within a safe weight limit inside. And that's a detail worth noting if you're hauling something like a trailer for toys or even a small vehicle. Tires might seem like a minor aspect, but they affect the entire trip. The 22A here rolls on all-season tires, great for a mix of highway driving as well as a little bit of off-road use. The 23B, however, comes equipped with all-terrain tires, designed for rougher trails and loose surfaces. Combine that with the 23B's extra higher ground clearance, an extra 5 inches, and you're looking at a rig better suited for off-grid adventures. Here's another point that often gets overlooked, the fuel capacity. The 22A has a larger 31-gallon gas tank compared to the 23B's 24.5-gallon diesel tank. Now that's a noticeable difference, especially in range. If you're boondocking far from civilization, you're probably going to prefer fewer stops to refuel. So the 22A will offer you more mileage before fill-ups. Also, it's worth mentioning, if you're used to gas vehicles or diesel vehicles, you may be used to those maintenances and those service intervals. Switching from one to the other may not be a huge difference, but it's worth mentioning things like mileage. With the 23B behind me here, we're going to get somewhere between 16 and 18 miles per gallon. With the 22A, we're getting somewhere between 15 and 17 miles per gallon. Seating is another area where these two models differ slightly. The 22A will give you 2 seatbelts behind the driver, both with 3-point seatbelt harnesses, perfect for families or groups traveling together. In the 23B, you're going to get 1 seat with a 3-point belt and a sideways bench seat with a 2-point belt. It's a versatile setup, and if you're frequently traveling with more passengers, then maybe the 22A may be a better fit. Now let's talk a little bit about kitchens. The 22A here features a 2-burner LP stove and a standard microwave. And this is a familiar setup for most RVers. There's also an option, if you don't go with the pop top like we have on this unit, to have an outdoor kitchen with a fridge, freezer, an outdoor range, and a little outdoor sink as well. Now with the 23B, it's going to be a little bit of a different approach. So the 23B takes a modern approach with an induction cooktop It's fast, efficient, safer since there's no open flame, and it's perfect to avoid carrying propane or using more of the propane on board if you're planning to mainly run off electricity. There's also a convection microwave available on these units, and convection air frying is becoming more and more common with cooking, and it's nice to have this option to cook off the electric again and save a bit from using more of the propane outside. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the things that make this unit more four-season acclimated than anything else that we offer in the C line. So all the water lines in this unit are actually inside the cabin box here, meaning this shower here is one of the best insulated that's offered across the industry. It also has a pump that's going to pull the water when we're perfectly level away from the drain and out to the gray tank. Now these units have a 51-gallon gray tank and a 50-gallon fresh tank. They also have a 5-gallon cassette for black waste, which is just outstandingly manageable. Everything being inside helps us keep everything insulated and at a better temperature, so we never have to worry about any of those pumps or any of the lines to any of our appliances here freezing. Next to something extremely important, the bedroom. Now the mattress length themselves on the 22A is about 76 inches long. Now with the 23B here, we have about 80 inches in length. So for taller folks or people that just want to stretch out, the longer bed option might be for you. It's also worth mentioning that on the 23B here, we have the option to turn that front seating arrangement into an additional bed. Either unit, you could always option the inflatable Luno bed that'll turn the front cab into an additional bed as well, and both units can be optioned with the pop top that can ideally sleep another 2 people. So this unit can ideally sleep up to 6 and have seat belts for at least 4, which is a fantastic option. Both models are off-grid ready. But let's break down the power systems. The 22A comes standard with a 2800 watt gas generator and about 455 watts of solar power on the roof. You can upgrade the single 320 amp hour lithium-ion battery and add a second battery for a total of 640 amp hours, but that will remove the gas generator option from factory. The 23B has a 2500 watt LP generator and comes standard with 530 watts of solar. Now, if you option the pop top over the roof rack on the top, you're not going to get the attractive rear ladder and you're not going to get as much solar on the roof. Instead, with the pop top, you're only going to get 220 watts of solar. And it's also worth mentioning that one hidden gem on the 23B is the nation's second alternator paired with a wake speed charge controller. This smart system charges based on your battery's needs, unlike the 22A's ball mirror alternator, which charges continuously while you're driving. It's more efficient and it extends your battery life. So I spoke briefly about a lot of the options that you can get from the factory with either of the EKKO units. Things like the EKKO bed I mentioned that you can option on either in the front, or the pop top that we can option on either in the roof. There's things that you're going to lose out with these options, like for example, when you option the pop top, you can no longer have that outdoor kitchen on the side here. It's worth mentioning that there are options available standard on both of the EKKOs here, regardless of the chassis. Things like the infotainment center here with the TV, the soundbar, and the Blu-ray player. Even if you option these things or don't option them, all the plugs, all the wiring is still going to be here if you were going to install things at a later date. There's also things like the pop top on this unit that when we option it, we actually lose out the ability from the factory to have that outdoor kitchen that would be housed right here. The awning itself is also an option from the factory that you can delete if you no longer want that either. And just like I mentioned with the entertainment center, there will be wiring still in the side of the chassis here in case you ever do decide to install one later down the line. Now with the 23B or the 22A, if you decide to go with that second 320 amp hour lithium-ion battery from the factory, they're going to remove that generator. It just gives you a little bit more payload when they remove the generator, and with that extra battery, you're not looking as much for the charging solutions as you were before. So it's worth mentioning for an option like that, if you want to keep your generator, you might want to have a service center do that additional battery. Another awning that can be optioned that is really, really cool and an option with the EKKOs is these Alu Cab 270-degree bat wing awnings that go around the rear of the unit. Now these are from a South African manufacturer, and Winnebago is very proud to be able to offer them on the units, and they just expand that outdoor living space and have a more rugged material than that typical side entrance awning. Finally, let's talk about the rear garage. The 23B garage is wider by about 4 inches, and the entry doors are a bit larger too. So if you've got bulky gear like bikes, skis, or other adventure equipment, that extra space and easier access can make loading and unloading a breeze. It's also worth mentioning that this is a heated storage, and there are 110 as well as 12-volt outlets in here in case you have things like an e-bike or something that you need to charge and maintain while you're going down the road. So which EKKO is right for you? Well, if you prefer a gas engine, or you need more seating, or you love the option of an exterior kitchen, then the 22A has your name written all over it. But if diesel efficiency, off-road capability, and modern power systems are more your speed, then the 23B might be calling your name. Either way, you can't go wrong. Both are built for adventure, just with different styles in mind. And thanks everybody for joining us. Drop questions below or thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more deep dives into RV life. And until next time, happy adventuring.